She thought she could move on easily, convincing herself that keeping busy, focusing on new things, and filling the empty spaces would help her forget. She told herself that if she surrounded herself with enough distractions, time would simply erase the pain. But reality doesn't work that way. At first, everything seemed normal. She went out, smiled for the camera, and posted the happiest moments online, giving the world the illusion of someone who was thriving. To everyone else, it looked like she was fine, in control, untouched. But behind the polished facade, something was brewing. What people don't see is the quiet storm inside her. She tries to bury her emotions, to act like she's moved on, telling herself that she's better off. But no matter how much she convinces herself that she's fine, the feelings refuse to vanish. This isn't just about getting over someone. It's about realizing that something she thought she could leave behind was actually irreplaceable. And this realization doesn't hit all at once. It sneaks up on her in fragments. She reaches for her phone only to remember you're not there. She scrolls through her feed and unconsciously checks to see if you've moved on. She tries to brush it off, telling herself it's just curiosity or habit, but deep down she knows it's more than that. The more she pushes those feelings aside, the more they resurface. The places you used to visit, the songs that once meant something to the two of you, the inside jokes that still echo in her mind. These small but powerful reminders keep creeping back into her life. And in those quiet, unguarded moments, the truth slips through. She misses you. She misses everything that came with you. But it's not just you that she misses. It's how you made her feel. She thought that replacing you with someone else or throwing herself into something new would fill the void. But now she sees it clearly. It's not just your presence she craves. It's the connection, the unique bond the two of you shared. The way you saw her, understood her, made her feel like she was exactly where she needed to be. And now, no one else can make her feel that way. Here's the hardest part. She can't get that back. No matter how many people surround her, no matter how much attention she gets, it's not the same. She thought letting go would give her the freedom she needed. Instead, it gave her a painful realization. She had something real, something worth holding on to, and she let it slip away. As you start moving forward, building new memories, she's left to grapple with the weight of her decision. She fights to suppress the emotions, to hold on to her pride. But the truth is, the hardest part of all is watching you let go while she's still stuck in the past. She never expected it to be like this. She thought she had control over her emotions, that time would heal the wounds. But now she understands. Time doesn't heal everything. It makes the loss feel even deeper. At first, she tried to block it out. She filled her days with distractions, friends, events, and endless tasks. She told herself that staying busy would keep the thoughts of you at bay, and for a while it worked. But as time passed, something inside her started to shift. It wasn't just missing you anymore, it was the terrifying thought that you might be forgetting her. That's what keeps her awake at night. Not just that you're gone, but that she might no longer occupy the same space in your heart. The idea that, while she's trapped in her own whirlwind of emotions, you might be moving on so easily without her. That realization shakes her to her core. She starts noticing the signs, the ones she can no longer ignore, the ones that tell her she's fading from your life. You're not liking her posts, not watching her stories, not interacting like you used to. It's clear. You've stopped looking, stopped caring, stopped waiting. And that absence, it's deafening. It's more than just the pain of missing you. It's the raw truth that she doesn't matter to you the way she once did. And that terrifies her, because she thought you'd struggle with this too. She thought you'd be the one missing her. She thought you'd be the one checking her updates, wondering if she still thought about you. But now, she has to confront the hardest reality of all. You're the one moving on, and that thought, it eats at her. She finds herself retracing her steps, revisiting old texts, scrolling through old pictures, even drafting messages she can't bring herself to send. She searches for any clue that you still care, still think about her. But each time she looks, she's met with emptiness. There's nothing left to hold on to. The version of you she once knew, the one who would always be there, waiting for her no matter what, no longer exists. She thought she could walk away and still keep a place in your life, that she could come back whenever she felt ready and you'd be waiting. But now she's facing the brutal truth. She's becoming just another chapter in your past, and the moment that hits her, that's when it all starts to shatter inside her. She never expected it to feel like this. She thought she had control. She thought if she ever changed her mind, you'd be there, ready to pick up the pieces. But now, with every passing day, she's realizing she can't undo what's been done. The door she walked out of is closed, and it might never open again. But now, she's coming to terms with something she wasn't prepared for. The door is closed. She doesn't just miss you anymore. She's realizing she's lost you. And that kind of loss, it's different. It's heavier. It's a weight she can't shake, no matter how hard she tries. She pushes herself further into distractions, goes out with friends, talks to other guys, hoping someone, anyone, might fill the gap you left. But nothing fits. Nothing feels the same, because it's not just about having someone around. It's about you. And now, for the first time, she's forced to see a reality she never anticipated. She thought she was the one in control, the one calling the shots. But now, the truth is clear. She wasn't fully in charge of anything. What she failed to see all along was that you had a choice too. While she was telling herself she didn't need you, expecting you to always wait, to always chase after her, you were quietly making your own decision, and you decided to let her go. She starts to realize this every time she reaches out, only to be met with indifference. She texts you, expecting excitement, but instead gets a flat, emotionless reply. She posts something, hoping for a sign that you're still watching, still interested, but you don't even bat an eye. She tries testing the waters, hoping to find a spark, but you've stopped playing the game. And that's when it really hits her. You're not the same person anymore. You've moved on. You've grown. And now you no longer see her the way you once did. She is the one left powerless, standing in the wake of a decision she didn't see coming. She wants to undo it. She wants to reach back in time and take away the distance she created. She wants to change the way things ended, but now it's too late. You're not giving her the same access anymore. And that's when the true regret hits her, deep and heavy. Because it's no longer about what she wants. It's about what you want. And the moment she realizes that you might not want her anymore, that's when the full weight of her loss crashes down on her. It's not just the absence of you. It's the absence of what she once had. Something real. Something she let slip through her fingers. There's a massive difference between missing someone and realizing you lost something you'll never get back. At first, she thought this was just another phase, a fleeting feeling she could move past like she had so many times before. But now, it's clear. This is different. She doesn't just miss the talks. You were never just words on a screen. She doesn't just miss the attention. You were more than just a fleeting distraction. She doesn't just miss the comfort. You were someone who made her feel things she couldn't even put into words back then. And now she understands. But that understanding, it comes with a painful truth. Because now, it's too late. She played out this scenario in her head 100 times, thinking that if she ever changed her mind, she could just reach out and everything would fall back into place. But for the first time in her life, she's facing a cold reality. Some things don't get a second chance, and the worst part, it's not just that she lost you, it's that she lost the version of you who truly cared, the man who once gave his time, his energy, his heart, without hesitation. That man, he's gone, and facing that reality crushes her, because now she sees it. You were the one real thing in her life, the one person who truly understood her, who saw her, not just for what was on the surface, but for who she was deep down. And she let it slip away. Not because she didn't care, not because she didn't feel something real, but because she didn't recognize its value until it was gone. Now she has to live with the crushing weight of knowing she had something extraordinary and let it fall through her fingers. The unbearable truth? She can't turn back time, and it haunts her. She never truly imagined a reality where you were gone, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, completely out of her reach. She always thought that no matter what happened, she would have a hold on you, that some part of you would always remain tethered to her. But now, that illusion has shattered. For the first time, she's seeing something she never thought she would. Being on the outside, looking in, you're no longer accessible, you're no longer waiting, and the worst part, you're no longer hers. She tries to convince herself it doesn't bother her, but it does, and the harder she fights it, the stronger it gets. It's not just missing you anymore, it's the heart-wrenching realization that you've moved on in a way she hasn't. She sees it in the way you carry yourself now, the way you've become more self-assured, more grounded, stronger. You've evolved into a higher version of yourself, one who no longer seeks validation from her, one who's no longer chasing after something that's no longer there. And that stings deeper than anything she ever imagined. Before, she held the power. She was the one who decided when things ended, when they started, how things played out. But now the power has completely shifted, and she doesn't know how to handle it. She looks back at the choices she made, and for the first time, she begins to regret not just losing you, but missing out on who you've become. Because the man you are now, the one who doesn't chase, who doesn't need anyone's approval, who doesn't place anyone above his own worth, that's the version she wanted all along. And now she realizes she'll never get that version of you back. That's the pain she never saw coming, the kind that doesn't fade, the kind that lingers in quiet moments, creeping into her thoughts and reminding her that some decisions can never be undone. She thought you would always be an option. But now she's realizing the truth. You weren't an option. You were the one. And she walked away. And the weight of that decision, it's something she'll carry with her far longer than she ever imagined. The emotional spiral that comes when she understands that what she lost is irreplaceable. The weight of her choice isn't just a fleeting thought anymore, it's a constant companion following her everywhere. At first, she told herself walking away was the right thing to do, that it wasn't a mistake, that life would eventually prove her right. But time isn't doing what she expected. Instead of feeling lighter, she feels heavier. Instead of feeling liberated, she feels restless. Instead of moving forward, she's trapped in a cycle of regret. Because now, she sees the difference between losing someone and losing someone who was truly irreplaceable. She thought she could replace what she had with you. She assumed that if she ever needed to, she could just find someone new, someone who could give her the same excitement, the same connection, the same depth. But now, after experiencing what else is out there, she realizes how rare you were. And that feeling, it starts to feel unfair. Why is it that the men showing her attention now don't measure up? Why does no one else make her feel the way you did? Why is it that no matter where she turns, she can't stop, comparing everyone else to you? She never thought it would be this hard. She thought walking away would lead to something new, something better. But now it's left her with an aching emptiness. Because here's the brutal truth she never wanted to face. Men like you? They don't come around often. You weren't just another guy trying to impress her. You weren't just someone vying for her attention, a fleeting moment in her busy life. No, you were different. You were the kind of man she could have built something real with, something lasting. And now, that chance is gone. That realization begins to eat at her. She tries to fill the void, but no amount of socializing, no new dates, no validation from anyone else can replace what you left behind. Because it wasn't just about attraction, it was about connection. What she shared with you was deeper than surface level, more rare than she ever realized. It was something she couldn't just find again. The more she comes to terms with it, the more the regret digs its claws into her. She walked away without understanding what she was truly giving up. And now, every time she looks back, every time she thinks of what could have been, she's haunted by the fact that she made a choice she can never undo. The final truth hits hard. She lost a man who won't come back. She fought it for so long, telling herself it wasn't that big of a deal, that time would make it all fade, that one day she'd stop thinking about you. But now she knows that day will never come, because as time passes, it only becomes clearer. She didn't just lose a man, she lost an opportunity to grow with someone who truly saw her, to build something with someone rare, to be with a man who mattered. And the worst part? You're not coming back. She can try to reach out. She can try to slip back into your life, pretending like nothing happened. But deep down, she knows the truth. You've outgrown her. The version of you who once wanted her is gone. And now, you're the one who holds the power. You're the one who gets to choose. She thought she had more time. She thought she had control. She thought she could walk away and always come back to an open door. But for the first time she understands, you weren't just an option. You were the choice. And now she has to live with the fact that she made the wrong one. If this resonated with you, check out the next video on your screen. The moment you stop chasing, everything shifts in your favor. Don't miss what's coming next.